What's happening, people? Today's guest is Funk Roberts, a best-selling author, former professional athlete, founder of Funk Roberts Fitness and Funk Supplements. His YouTube channel has almost 1 million subscribers and 100 million views. He is a certified MMA conditioning coach and master metabolic trainer. His training primarily focuses on naturally increasing your testosterone. Guys, this has got to be one of my favorite podcasts that we've done. We packed in more information into 1 hour than I think we ever have. By the end of this podcast, you will have literal action steps on what to do to increase your testosterone, get more out of training, and what to eat. So enjoy the podcast.
The Way of Will John.
Funk Roberts, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks so much for having me on this.
Yeah, listen, like I said before we were filming, there's so much that we can go on. You're so detailed in all the stuff that you know. You clearly know your stuff, which is something that's huge for me. You know, we got a whole lot of guys. Obviously, the majority of people in our world are coming from the soccer.
Right.
We, based on the videos that we do, we get a lot of guys in the fitness, trying to get faster, you know, that whole space, you know, it's still covered within the sport. And so why don't you tell us first off, how did you get here? What sports did you play? How did you get to this point of all this knowledge?
Sure. So once again, thanks so much for having me. I'm Funk Roberts. I'm 53 years old. I'm a former professional indoor and beach volleyball player. So I live here in Canada. So I played at the highest level of beach volleyball, representing my country all over the world on the FIVB, which is International Volleyball, AVP, which is in the US, and then, of course, our Canadian tour here. Also, I played indoor volleyball as well. So growing up, that was really, I played all sports growing up. I played football, basketball, and I tried to fit in the CFL. Like I was one of those jack of all trades, but finally mastered one, right? Mastered volleyball. It was kind of like something that happened. You know, I was going to high school, going into changing high schools. Football was the big sport for me. I was ready to continue my journey in the football realm, and the high school I went to didn't have football. They were actually a rugby school. And so they were the best rugby school, so I played rugby as well. But I'd also still played a little bit of volleyball, so that's really what guided me. I kind of just resonated with volleyball. You know, they're jumping. I just loved that sport. And then when beach volleyball came about, you know, I saw it on ABC, I think it was. I watched, you know, 2-on-2 as opposed to 6-on-6. You know, they're on a beach. You know, women are all over the place. There's, you know, crowds everywhere. I'm an entertainer, specifically when I play sports. I love to be in front of people when I play sports. And right away, I'm like, I'm 100% doing this. Black guy on a beach playing beach volleyball. Hello. So anyway, so that was kind of what I did for 15, 20 years. When I was 30, I retired. But throughout my whole journey, I was always into fitness. Like I was so blessed that I had parents that were high-level athletes. You know, like they worked. My mom was a manager at Bell Canada. My dad had 2 jobs, so they worked. They got up early. You know, I was a latchkey kid. So from the time I was 8 years old, I had my own key on you know, and I was, you know, cooking for myself, doing all that stuff. And my parents were pretty much never home. But they showed me something through their actions, because they would work, they would come home, they would cook. My mom would, you know, do stuff around the house. They would go to practice. And then I would see them coming home every week with trophies, with medals. So they didn't have to say anything. I just saw it. You know, I just kept seeing the high achieving and what it took to do that. So that just resonated with me right away. And I loved bodybuilding. I loved fitness. I loved, you know, Flex Magazine, Muscle and Fitness, like Flex Wheeler, all these guys. Like I loved bodybuilding. So when I was 11 years old, my father bought me a Weider bench and some dumbbells. And I'm just like, you know, you want the biceps at 11, 12. So I was always working out. I was always obsessed with magazines. So even as I was playing volleyball, I, you know, learned about fitness, learned about optimizing as an athlete, learned to be the best athlete, because I'm only 5'11", and beach volleyball and indoor volleyball, I'm playing against guys who are 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", and so that jumping, so that plyometric jumping, I had to learn that very early, and I had to implement that very early into my training. So I was doing a lot of training outside of just going to practice every day, or you know, that sort of thing. That was huge for me. Anyway, so once I retired, then I got into the corporate world because I had kids, you know,
Mm.
family. So now I'm, 9 to 5, sitting at a computer all day, still playing indoor volleyball at a high level, but not, not professional. But, and doing some personal training, because this is where I kind of got into, okay, let me just, dabble in some personal training. I realized right away I hated personal training. I didn't like one-on-one. I don't mind one-on-one, but I thought I wanted to give more, right? So I'm spending so much time with this one person who you have to kind of like, okay, motivate. And, I'm used to training and playing with high-level athletes. Now I've got to switch. Not saying there's anything wrong, but I'm just saying that was a mindset that I couldn't get used to. And then I started boot camps because there was no boot camps here. So I started doing boot camps, and that was great too, but I'd have to lug, all this equipment to the to the beach or to this field and set it up, and then afterwards. So once again, those were things I was doing kind of like on the side, still had the 9 to 5, but then YouTube started to happen. And for me, it was like, oh, wait a minute, this is a chance for me to showcase what I have to many people around the world. So I started shooting videos, and then it wasn't until I went to Thailand, because I got reintroduced to Muay Thai. And specifically when UFC started to pop off, I got reintroduced to Muay Thai because I was training Muay Thai back when I was younger, but I couldn't because of volleyball. And so when I went to Thailand, and at that time, I'd already had a certification in strength and conditioning for fighters, because I'd already thought, okay, listen, if I'm going to go into Muay Thai training, I have to learn the strength and conditioning portion that's going to make me better as a Muay Thai fighter, right? I want to know, core strength, explosiveness, endurance, speed, quickness, all of the things that any fighter or any athlete will need to know outside of the sport training, outside of the skills. You got to do that, of course. Drill. But the best athletes are the ones that can go outside and focus on all the other things, the tangibles that most people don't focus on. So I got my certification as a MMA strength and conditioning coach, went to Thailand, and at the place I went to, which is called Tiger Muay Thai, this is, again, very long time ago, all of the fighters around the world would come to Thailand to practice their stand-up. Because, you go to either the US or Russia for wrestling, you go to Brazil for jiu-jitsu, there's different countries you go to master your martial arts training. So for stand-up, you would go to Thailand or the Netherlands if it's kickboxing. But everyone is training bis and tris, back and shoulders. Like, they were doing the old bro split stuff. And right away, I'm like, guys, I just started talking to people, and I ended up actually doing a seminar at that time that I was there, talking about all the physical attributes you need and why you shouldn't be doing. Bicep curls aren't going to do you any good, other than looking good, or if you're stepping on a stage. But if you're an athlete, bicep curls aren't doing anything. You got to do more, specifically because you don't have a lot of time, right? Most of the time's skill training. So with little time that you have, you got to focus on everything else that's going to help you accelerate as an athlete. So when I came back, I said, I'm going to start Funk MMA. It's going to be online, and I'm going to put workouts there, like just demo videos, really videos that any fighter in the world can use. They can go to Funk MMA, they can use it. So that's how I kind of started to get online. I just started posting, and started to build a very big following. This is back like probably 15 years ago. Very big following in the fight world, and then fitness as well, because I also did metabolic training, which is like HIIT training. And so I actually created a certification for metabolic training for trainers to use and coaches to use. So I was implementing that style of training for fighters, of course, and had some products. But I realized in order for me to go further online and really put all my passion into it, I'd have to do it full time. So I just got married. I'm 43 years old, so this is the later part of my life. And I decided I'm going to do this full time. And so I just went into the president's office of the company that I was making 6 figures at, and I told him I'm leaving. I'm going to do this. And he was just like, I figured I would get this because everyone where I worked were all on my newsletter. So they would always ask me, hey, Fonz, what should I do for this? What should I do for that?
Yeah.
So I didn't tell my wife I was doing this. So when I got home, it was, she was like, you better get your butt upstairs, man, and start working on that computer. So I had that support, but that was kind of like where we got to today. And throughout my online, career, I've done a lot of, strength and conditioning for fighters, for athletes in general. And now, because I'm 53, I've moved into the men over 40. But everything I talk about really and truly resonates with everybody, because a lot of the guys in my program, their kids are now jumping on the same program because it's getting them better results than they're doing currently. Also, the other thing that I did before I really put myself out there was I had to actually fight. So at 41, I went to Thailand and fought Muay Thai. Fought a guy who had 60 fights, Thai Muay Thai fight, full rules in Taipei Stadium. In fact, my wife, who's also a Muay Thai fighter, she was on the undercard. She fought the co-main, so we both won our fights. And that to me was kind of like solidifying, because MMA, that community, it's like, oh, well, yeah, you're a strength and conditioning coach, but have you ever fought before? Have you ever done that? So I fought, I had to wait, I had to go through the whole process. I walked out to the ring, I fought in front of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. So I had all of that. And then I took that knowledge and I took that experience, and, I would train fighters one-on-one if they had fights, but my thing was online.
I love that, actually, because that's a whole, practice what you preach type thing. And I get sick of saying this on podcasts and videos and places that I go. But in our same community, within the soccer community, there's, nowadays, and obviously you've had this trek with, with your YouTube journey. You knew that it would be important for you not just to be a strength and conditioning coach, but to have gone out there and won something and showed what I do, what I preach, it works. This is why it works, etc. Not only is it working for you guys, it's worked for me, etc. And we have this whole community now where it's funny because I've never really spoken publicly on the channel, but we've got guys who aren't pros, who their trainings, if I look at them and I say, well, that's not going to work. That's definitely not going to work. It might work it'll work for the amateur. It's like, and if that's what you want to do, that's great. But it's being sold as this is what and that's not. It's just not, Yeah. And so anyway, to bring it all back, to get straight into the stuff that I wanted to ask about, something you were talking about just yesterday, actually, which I'm sure is actually going to apply to anybody of any age, but optimizing your hormones. Ooh. You did a whole entire video on this. I mean, we're going to link obviously to all sorts of stuff down below, but could you touch on this? Because one of the things that you were getting from optimizing your hormones was muscle gain, testosterone boosting and all that stuff. So could you touch, because I want to give guys definitely some practical stuff that they can take from this podcast and just go straight out and be like, all right, I'm going to go, I heard what Funk said. Let me go try this out for a week. Let me go try this out for a month. How's this going to work? So starting with the hormones, what are we doing wrong and what can we do?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for asking that. So listen, I'm getting goosebumps because this is my whole journey right now is to let men know how important testosterone is. It is our number one male hormone, and right now testosterone is at the lowest it's been in modern day history in regards to our whole male community, right? Our whole male population, 25% lower than it was 30 years ago. And estrogen, which is a female hormone, we need a little bit of estrogen. Of course, we need it because we need it for a healthy sex life, healthy libido. But too much will cause belly fat storage, will cause the man boobs. Will decrease testosterone, will cause a lot of inflammation. So instead of trying to focus on building muscle, burning fat, yes, we definitely have to do that 100%. And through the practice and the lifestyle that you lead, when you focus on hormones, that will happen. That's the byproduct. But it's the hormones we have to optimize, because you could be going to the gym 6 days a week, hitting the weights, doing bis and tris, back and shoulders, getting on the cardio machine for 60 minutes, thinking you're doing everything right. You may be doing low carb diets, thinking I'm doing everything right, man. I'm reading what's on the web. I'm reading magazines. I'm listening to all these guys. They're telling me to do paleo. They're telling me to do keto. They're telling you to do all these things that are supposed to optimize your body. But what they're not telling you about is how those things will not optimize your hormones. And so you're doing all this stuff and you're still having problems losing the belly fat. You're still having problems building muscle. You still feel no energy. You still have a bad mood. You still have a horrible sex life because you have no libido. What is happening? Well, it's your hormones. It's testosterone. So the first thing we have to do is focus on increasing our testosterone naturally. doing the things that will naturally increase our testosterone, which means getting 7 to 9 hours sleep, right? Testosterone is our number one hormone. It is responsible for everything. So if you want to burn fat, lose weight, increase your libido, increase your energy, anything pretty much if you're feeling bad right now, it's probably because your testosterone levels are low. And so, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of information out there because they're trying to suppress that and keep, anyways, I'm not even going to get into that.
We'll get into that if we have time though. But yeah, keep going.
So yeah, testosterone is the number one male hormone. So we've got to start to get that mindset. Okay, so it's testosterone that I need to focus on naturally increasing our T levels. So how do we do that? 7 to 9 hours sleep. Yes, you probably hear this all the time because sleep is great for energy the next day. Sleep is great for, just making you feel good, but it's also great for keeping cortisol down. Cortisol is a stress hormone. And cortisol, although we need it, we will need it throughout the day. We need it when we wake up because that's what gets us up. We need it during high stress situations, fight or flight, or when we're trying to focus on something. When you're playing soccer or practicing soccer, your cortisol levels go up, right? Because you need that. You need that heightened awareness to enable you to do the things you need to do. But it's the chronic cortisol. It's a chronic stress. It's the stress that we don't focus on, the stress that's going around in the world, the stress that's going on in our lives. That keeps chronic cortisol. And when your cortisol levels are high, not only are you going to have high blood pressure, not only are you going to lead to heart disease and other chronic diseases, but that also causes belly fat storage. That also suppresses your testosterone. That also causes inflammation. So estrogen, when you're eating estrogenic foods like milk and soy and like drinking a lot of milk, depending on your age, like if you're younger, sure, you can get away with all this because when you're younger, like in your 20s, your T levels are high. Okay, so you can get away with a lot more. But as we get older, then you really have to start focusing on I got to stay away from foods that are estrogenic, foods like processed foods, sugars, alcohol. Like beer is very estrogenic. It causes, well, you can see the beer belly. They call it the beer belly for a reason. That's that estrogen. Milk has prolactin. Prolactin converts to estrogen. Again, guys, estrogen's a female hormone. We don't want too much estrogen. So when you start thinking about that, you're like, oh man, that's probably why I'm having a hard time getting rid of this, right? So back to the sleep and the cortisol. So think about cortisol. Think about estrogen being our enemies, right? We need them, but we only need them in snippets. So the sleep is going to be key because that's going to keep cortisol levels down. That's going to optimize our testosterone production because testosterone gets produced in the mornings, right? Like when you're in a nice deep sleep, thalamus starts, the whole process starts happening all the way down to your testes. And then it's cholesterol. So this will make sense in a few minutes. Cholesterol, good cholesterol is the precursor to testosterone. So you need that cholesterol in order for testosterone production to start happening, right? So you need that kickstart. If you don't have it there, then there's no production. So that happens in the morning. So you need to get that sleep. Cortisol levels go down. You lose more weight when you're getting better sleep. Your cortisol levels are down. Your energy levels are up the next day. You're feeling better. It is one of the things we can focus on now that'll help us in the long run. So just starting to get to strive for 7 to 9. Listen, I'm not crazy. I'm not telling you, oh, okay, so Funk, you're telling me that you get 7 to 9 hours sleep every night. No, 100% I don't. But there's times where there'll be 3 or 4 days where I only get 4 a night because I'm focusing on something. But I know what's going to happen when I do get that. I know that I'm going to feel down. I know that my mood's going to be down. I know that I'm probably going to be more hungry. Like I know what happens when I don't. So I can quickly turn that around. I know that, listen, when you're not getting sleep, and you guys probably know this, you don't need me to tell you this, during practice, during games, how horrible are your games? How horrible are your practice? How horrible is your mind, your focus? You can't focus. You're too tired, right? And what happens when you're tired? You make mistakes, totally. Right? When you're tired, you go back to your old habits, the old habits that you shouldn't be doing. So sleep 7 to 9 hours. Number 2, nutrition.
Before going into that one, before going into nutrition, you mentioned something something else that I saw on the quality of sleep, which I didn't want to bypass because if we're going to move on, what does that really mean by the quality of the sleep?
Sure. So there's different phases of sleep, right? So the ones you guys are more know the most is REM. So we'll just stick to that. you can get 7 to 8 to 9 hours of sleep. But if you're not in a deep sleep during that time, then you're not getting quality sleep. It is the quality of the sleep because it's in that REM stage where your testosterone production starts, where it optimizes itself. So if you're just barely, if you're always getting up or your one eye's open or you're resting,
phone, the TV, or that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's EMF and all the other estrogen. No, that's perfect. You're absolutely right. So all of those things, you're not getting good quality sleep. So you could, in essence, get 5 hours of sleep. But if it's 5 hours of solid quality sleep, like you're out cold and, and not from drinking and passing out, but from, a serious sleep, then you can get away with that, right? You can get away with that. So it's not, thank you so much for bringing that up, because it's not just, okay, Funk, I got 9 hours yesterday for the last month. How come things aren't still working? Well, it's the quality too. Quantity and quality, but focus on trying to get the 7 to 9 first, because that's kind of like the lowest hanging fruit. And once you get to that, then try to optimize. Okay, am I getting 7 quality hours? Let's go there now. Let's go there next, right? So let's hit nutrition. So this is I make nutrition as easy as possible. I try to make it so simple because I work with over 13,000 men over 40, all online. But we've got a very strong membership. We've got thousands of transformations. So, but I understand that nutrition is a massive hurdle for everybody, right? There's so many things out there, restrictive diets, low carb, low fat, low. So if you are educated and know why you're eating certain foods and how it affects your hormones, then you're going to be more focused on your nutrition, an easy way to eat, and not focused on, I've got to count my calories or I've got to weigh my foods. We don't do that. We just have 3 meals a day, and each meal has to have a source of starchy, healthy carb. We need starchy, healthy carbs because carbs support your thyroid hormone. Your thyroid is responsible for your metabolism, fat burning metabolism. So if you are on low carb diets, that's why when people go on low carb diets, sure, the first couple of days you're going to lose weight, but you start to slow down. Your energy levels start to slow down. Your metabolism, all of a sudden your body goes, I'm not getting the glucose I need. I'm not getting the carbs I need. So I'm just going to go into starvation mode. We're slowing everything down. And I'm going to hold on to that fat because I'm not getting the energy from the carbs that I need. So when people tell you low carbs, don't eat carbs, no, we need carbs. And if you're an athlete, you need more carbs because you are an active athlete. You are the one, especially after practice, after games, carb up. The night before a game, carb up. But it's the carbs that you eat. It's complex, starchy carbs, sweet potatoes, basmati rice, white rice, wild rice, quinoa, steel cut oats, complex carbs, not simple sugary carbs, but complex carbs.
Give us an example of those the simple ones that we should avoid.
So simple carbs, pasta, white bread, cereals, fried, like anything fried or processed, right? Whole wheat bread, instead of whole wheat bread, Ezekiel bread is what we should be focusing on. If you want to optimize your hormones and your testosterone, then it's the whole wheat, the white bread, all those breads are more on the simple side. Increase our insulin levels, cause fat storage, inflammation, and of course block our testosterone. So keeping complex carbs in front and center. There's not a lot, which makes things a lot easier for you to stick to, steel cut oats, those things that you can stick to it. Like I said, you got to make it simple. If you want it sustainable, you should be able to stay on the exact same diet for 10 years, right. 5 years, 6 years, right? And still maintain a very healthy lifestyle. So the second thing is healthy fats. Remember I talked about cholesterol. Cholesterol is the precursor, right, to testosterone. So we need healthy fats with all 3 meals every day. So avocado, olive oil is fantastic. Coconut oil, MCT oil powder, nuts, right? Not too many nuts because, again, sometimes you go, let me have some cashews. But cashews are very dense in calories. So just a handful. That's why people say just a handful of nuts. They're dense, they're filling, so you don't need too much. That's why you go with the unsalted, because the salted, you guys know, you eat salted peanuts next to the bags done.
Shove them down.
Yeah, exactly. Unsalted. Yeah. So then we go with protein. So, of course, protein is They're the building blocks of our muscles, our bones, and a lot of the metabolic processes that go in our bodies. And we don't naturally produce protein, so we have to get it from outside sources. Animal protein for men is the best, 100% hands down. Animal protein, high quality, grass-fed protein, organic.
I gotta go there since I've already had a vegan on.
Oh,
what's going on? What's going on with the vegetarian? No, not at all. They're just not. Give me something based on that.
Again, it's about testosterone. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, just losing weight or whatever it is. I'm talking about testosterone, hormonal optimization. We need that animal protein. We need different sources of protein. There's not enough high quality protein in vegan or vegetarian foods. Plus, vegan and vegetarian. Well, if you're a vegan specifically, it's a very high processed diet. I said just before this, processed foods are the worst. It's one of the things you got to stay away from. Processed foods kill our T levels. So a lot of processed foods, a lot of fake foods to try to make up for real foods, real tasting foods, right? You're not going to get enough. You can get enough fats, but it's the quality of the meats. It's the quality of the whey isolates, high quality whey isolate. Like those are the things that, and like I mentioned before, protein is one of the most important macronutrients for us, right? Because we don't naturally produce it, so we have to get it from outside sources. And I know that a lot of vegans and vegetarians have a very difficult time. So when guys come into my program, because my program's worldwide and people are from different countries, I do have a lot of vegans, not a lot, but I have vegans coming in or vegetarians coming in. And the first question I ask them is, why are you a vegetarian? Why are you vegan? And 90% of the time, because I do have people in my program who do it because of their religion, they say, oh, well, because I was having gut issues and blah, blah, blah. So my wife or my friend told me to become a vegetarian and then I felt great. Yeah. Now what? Because then when they get the testosterone levels checked, it's very low. So I say the reason why you changed is because you were eating like shit before, like you're eating horribly. So anything you did would help your gut. Doesn't matter what you did. You just got rid of all the shitty foods, but you went from A to Z. Yeah. Like, okay, and that's great. You feel better, but you still don't have the energy. You still have a hard time building muscle. Like these are all the things they keep saying, which is why they're my program. So then I said, listen, let's baby step you in. You have some fish. You have some organic chicken. Sure. Right? That was the reason. So think about the reasons why, and now let's refocus and move into this plan and see how amazing your gut's going to feel, how amazing your energy is going to be, how much more muscle you're going to build, how much more energy you're going to have, all of those things. So animal protein would be the best.
Sure.
And just protein. Okay. Lastly is vegetables and fruits. So I make this the last thing, but it's probably the most important because micronutrients. Think about micronutrients. You don't hear micronutrients in other diet plans. You just hear macros. You hear proteins or don't eat this or don't eat that. It's the micronutrients from the foods, the vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients. That's what optimizes our hormones, the boron, the zinc, the magnesium, the vitamin D, the vitamin B, all of those things. That's what we're putting into our body that will help optimize our body. And we're going to get most of that, a lot of that from vegetables and fruits. The foods that I talked about before, yes, they're macronutrients, but in those foods, there are micronutrients that help, like selenium and boron from sweet potato. Like all of these foods have things that we need for our bodies. So we want to make sure that we're optimizing our body, we're optimizing our hormones by not leaving out any type of food except sugars, processed foods, all of those things. And focusing on, okay, here's my plate. I'm going to have a source of healthy fat, starchy complex carb, vegetables or fruits, depending on, whatever the meal is, and then a protein. And so, you just want to make sure you have all four of those at every single meal, 3 meals a day. That's it. You should not have to snack.
Sure.
If you're an athlete, probably a little bit different because remember what I said, you're more active than most people. An athlete is more active than the regular person going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week because you guys are practicing, then you have games. And so you have to eat around your schedule, around your practices, making sure you have something before your practice, like a slow digesting fruit, maybe pear or apple, a little protein shake to get that protein in and help with the digestion of that. Slow digesting carb will help give you the energy throughout practice or the game. And then after the game is done, after your practice is done and you go home, you should be eating 2-to-1 carbs to protein. And depending how hard that practice is, it could be 3-to-1 carbs to protein. And the reason why, and this is going to be huge, is because during practice or during a game, your body is using up all the glycogen, right? All the glycogen stores, all the energy. And then by the end, all of your glycogen stores are gone. They're done. You've been running up and down the field for 90 minutes or practicing whatever. So now you're done. You're just like, man, that was tough. Most people just take a protein shake or drink a Gatorade and think that's it. No, because that affects you the next day or that affects you that night. Next day you feel horrible. It's like, man, I practiced. It killed me, man. I have no energy. Why? Well, because you didn't replenish the glycogen stores. Yeah. Because remember what I said about carbs. When you don't eat carbs, your body goes into starvation mode. Right after practice, your body's done. It's in starvation. It's dying. Like it's you have your metabolism slow. Your body's moving slower. It realizes that you're tired. So now you have to go home, shower up, and have a nice meal, about an hour, hour and a half, after your practice, whatever amount of time you need, but do it as soon as you can.
Right.
2-to-1 or 3-to-1 carbs to protein. So a lot more carbs on the plate is basically what I'm saying. Protein, healthy fats, vegetables, fruits. And all of a sudden, you're gonna replenish. Your body goes, hey, we've got the energy we need. Let's burn off that fat. Let's make sure our protein that we're bringing in gets used for the metabolic processes, goes to our muscles, goes to where we need to go, our bones. And of course, the vegetables and fruits have the micronutrients. And when you start doing that on an ongoing basis, I'm telling you, you're optimizing your entire game.
Your system.
Yeah.
And I wanted to touch on two things because one, I tend not to snack very, very, very much. I tend not to. But one of the things I definitely struggle with is what the hell am I supposed to snack on? Where is my good? Because the way our modern society is set up for snacks are the worst possible thing you could ever imagine. Even to be honest, in some of the fitness training world, like they're full of sugar, they're full of this, or it's some weird processed thing that I can't pronounce. Like it's not natural. So my question would be, given all this, I'm sure some guys do snack, but I have definitely still struggled to find out like what's the best snack. I got bananas, I got nuts. Like I'm looking for some variety. Is there something I'm missing?
We don't snack in my program.
Okay.
We don't snack. I tell them not to snack because you should not need to snack. Like you don't snack. Why? Because you're getting enough food during your meal. So, because remember, our bodies need time to digest. We can't overload our digestive system with eating this whole 5-6 meals a day. That's like 1960s. Like that is so old. Like honestly, that is so old. That doesn't work today. Yeah. We've done a lot of research. We've evolved from that, right? So that doesn't. If someone's telling you that, you gotta check them. But 3 meals a day, that's it. We need our bodies to digest, to really get the food micronutrients and things to where they need to go. Imagine you just keep piling food on top of food. That the same thing happens. The body starts to go, okay, hey man, we got to slow everything down. You're just overloading us. Digestive system has a hard time digesting. Now you're messing up the gut health. So
what about fasting though? So what could I just touch in? Sorry to cut in, but I'm curious.
So fasting, we do fasting. So I do introduce fasting. I start by introducing a 120 to 24 hour fast per week. So after my guys figure out the nutrition program and just or system, it's not even a program, it's a lifestyle. But once they figure that out, then okay, now we're gonna fast. I want to throw in a day of fasting to reset your metabolism, to reset your body, because when we do that, we're actually trying to shred a little bit more weight because of the way the program's set up. It's in that phase of okay, we're trying to shred, so we're gonna throw in a fast. So and then I give them an option to do the 16-8 fast. That is really the only fast that I would suggest. So 16 hours of fasting. For me, that is a lifestyle. That is not a I want to lose weight thing. That is not because it's not a sustainable thing for weight loss even. It's just, it may work again for 2 to 3 months, but after that, your body will adapt. It'll learn, it knows. So it's more of a lifestyle. People who use intermittent fasting to try to lose weight, or like I'm trying to lose weight, so I'm going to intermittent fast for a year. It doesn't work because, again, it happens in my program. And I say, guys, go back to the 3 meals a day. Tell me what happens. Boom. Metabolism kickstarts. It's like, I'm sweating after my workouts. I'm sweating, 2, 3, 4 hours after the workout. I'm feeling better. I got more energy. Yeah. So, but if your lifestyle, like, hey, I don't like eating in the morning, or, I can't eat 3 meals a day, because generally when you fast, you're only going to get 2 meals in. Like, it's very difficult to get 3. It is, most guys ask me, hey man, Funk, I can't get the 3 meals in. I'm like, yeah, because you're fasting. It's very difficult to get 3 meals in an 8-hour week.
Sure.
I find it difficult. We all have jobs and things to do. So, but as an athlete, I would never fast, because you need the nutrition. You need the nutrition for your body. You need to fuel your body with healthy food so that you can fuel your game, right? I would never fast as a fighter or as a volleyball player.
Yeah. That's so funny, because I only tend to fast. What happens is I fall into fasting only in off season or this mid-season break, where I eat this 2 meal type thing based on like what it feels natural to me. The second that I'm then starting to ramp up the training to then get ready to play again, and then all throughout the season, all throughout the thing, it's back to 3, guaranteed. Cannot be 2. So
Beautiful. That's a beautiful template for during off season, right? Not training as hard as much.
yeah.
Mid break, you just want to relax, chill out, give your body a break. That totally makes sense to me. Like 100% makes sense to me. And then season starts, you understand. You have that understanding. Hey man, I got to play my best. I got to be my best. So that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, and you started to touch about recovery, but I want to definitely go back into that just a little bit, because you also in one of it might have even been yesterday's stream, or at least what you were talking about as well. You touched on recovery and how important it is. So I wanted to get to what specifically guys should be doing. Obviously, I know you're going to touch on sleep again, but other than sleep, I don't want to underestimate its effectiveness. You pointed at what looked like maybe, is there a sauna bag?
Yeah.
Do you have a sauna? What is that? What is that? Like, you pointed to the ground. You're like, I go to the sauna, and he points to the ground. I'm like, what?
190,000% sauna. I wish we could have done it before. So, okay, recovery is key. In fact, for me, because I'm 53, for athletes, so when I used to train fighters, that was like, it's very difficult for me to tell fighters recovery is more important, or just as important. I can't say it's more important, just as important. Because in order for you to continually train hard, to continually put yourself in high stress situations, in the gym, on the field, in your games, at home, you need recovery. You need to make sure your body is recovered. You don't want to get injured, because depending on what level you're at, it could be money you're losing. It could be something you love you're losing. It could be, something you made, even if it's in an amateur, something, that you depend on for your mental health, you're losing because you're injured. And then you've got the injury you have to focus on. And that's even stressful, right? We want to try to take away as many barriers. And one barrier that we can take away is getting injured by doing the most we can with our recovery. So sleep for sure. I use a sauna, specifically right after our workout. So again, I'm not a high level athlete anymore. We do work. My wife and I will do workouts. We'll hit the pads. We'll do workouts right outside on our balcony or at the gym where we shoot. And then we come home, or after we're done, we're in there for 10 minutes, maybe 15, 20. It all depends. It all depends on how you feel. There's no do this for this long. It's just how you feel. But that starts, that recovery process with your body and your muscles, and the heat shock proteins you hear Joe Rogan talk about all the time. All of those things. Mobility is key, because try to tell guys who are coming into a program that they got to do yoga, they got to do all this mobility training. It's like, okay, guys, you're only working out 4 days a week, and 2 of those, and then so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Saturday's a bonus workout. Yeah. Tuesdays and Thursdays is mobility or yoga, and they're all follow-along workouts. So all you do is click play. But guys don't, the yoga thing and the mobility thing is just, it doesn't resonate until, I'm doing lunges and my knee hurts.
Why?
Okay, did you have something traumatic happen to your knee? No. Okay. Are you doing the stretches after the workout? Sometimes. Are you doing the mobility yoga? No, I don't have time for that. Dude, the reason why your knee's hurting is not because you have a knee problem. You have a mobility problem in your ankle, or you have tight hips, or your core is weak. All of these other things happen when it's an injury. The injury doesn't happen at the source unless it's traumatic. It happens around it. It's an elbow, probably something to do with your wrist or the way you're holding a dumbbell, or your shoulder tightness, no mobility, no stability. So mobility is key. As soon as I throw that in there, everyone, they love the mobility because they feel amazing after, right? You just trained the day before. Now you're doing your mobility. You're more mobile. You're more flexible, right? You're more athletic. You're more agile, right? And it's all about sustainability. My program's 3 years long. I have 3 years of programming. The worst thing that can happen for me is for everybody coming into my program and going, oh yeah, I did Funk's program and I got injured.
Wow.
Like if that happens all the time, then my credibility in my programming sucks. So I have to make sure that these guys last 3 years. And remember, I'm dealing with a population that's 40, 50, 60, and 70. I'm not dealing with young kids. So these guys are in phase 32, phase 28. Like it's insane because that is implemented. So going to yoga, and even when I was a fighter, I did yoga 100% because I needed it for my flexibility and my just my core strength and flexibility and balance. And even in my volleyball, I did it for a few reasons, but yoga classes, they have women in there. So, listen, whatever gets you into the class, right? Whatever gets you into the class.
I'm a huge yoga guy. And it's funny because growing up, there was a player who, his name's Preki. A lot of the soccer guys will know this guy. He won an MVP over 40 in the MLS. And you talk to the guy, and I was lucky enough to go to train with him. I think I was 16 or maybe 17 when I started training as a pro, right, in Kansas City. And back at that time, there weren't a whole lot of opportunities, right, to get in. It was, you've got two guys that right there, like top promising guys to do this. And so I got to go there, train with him, do all this stuff. And then later on, even he's a coach now, and I would talk to him about, how did you do this? Because number one, he's doing this. We're talking 20 years ago. Like it wasn't. Yoga's not as prevalent as it was. Recovery is not as prevalent as it was. You know how it was back then. There was none of that. And so I asked him, and he said, one, I would do yoga all the time. Crazy. I think he even broke his ankle also above the age of 40 and still went on to do it. So it's a testament to what can be done and why mobility training is so important. And I know this personally as just, I can take time. I can be training. You get busy and maybe you have 2 games a week or something like this. And you're thinking, you know what? I'm too busy to do it. And eventually it just always catches up on you. Maybe it doesn't catch up on an injury, but I know I don't feel like I felt. And the second you do yoga, there's, like you said, there's nothing wrong. There's almost never anything. When you feel that little tick or thing, people say, I've got a knee thing. It's like, you got to do the stretches. You got to strengthen and you're fine. You're fine. Trust me. You've just never done anything to work on it. And so it's weird that we just kind of accept this. And I want to roll on straight into something else that you just talked about, which was alleviating stress and how important that is also for your testosterone levels, also probably for your performance, and then avoiding injuries, because you mentioned meditation and that sort of stuff. So maybe touch on this because I know it's all linked in there, and I've got a few other things, but just on that point.
Amazing, man. Yes, so definitely gratitude. So here's the thing. Stress, we always have stress in our lives, right? We always going to have it. It's not going to go away. Like I said, it's a chronic stress. It's the stuff that you leave. It's the stuff that you don't take care of. It's the stuff that you let percolate in your life that will continue. It's the stuff you look at online. It's the stuff that gets fed to you. All of this thing, you may think you're handling it, but your mood starts to change. You start getting inflammation, cortisol. All of these things start to happen in your body that's going on. So we've got to, and again, as an athlete, no matter what level you are, even if you're just playing recreationally, it doesn't matter. You're the same type of focus that a pro athlete does. It's just a different level. We're not like regular people who just sit down all day long. So we've got to take care of these things. We've got to handle all these things. So keeping stress at bay, doing meditation, just, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever that means. Downloading a meditation, there's no good or bad. You just download something and start it. Time with yourself where you can, slow down your breathing, learn how to breathe, learn the different breathing patterns that will slow down your body. Some mindfulness, some meditation will help you focus. And so when times get stressful, you can use those tools that you learn through breathing techniques or meditation or what have you. But doing it on a daily basis really helps start your day beautifully. Sometimes, and you don't have to meditate at the beginning of the day. You can sometimes in the middle of the day, sometimes at night, doesn't matter. But it's just getting it done. It'll keep cortisol levels down because remember that's that chronic stress level. We want to try to optimize using it when we need it, but then suppress it when we don't. Because when that's up, that your testosterone can't get to where it needs to go. right? It can't do anything. And the production, and too much is going to just suppress that production. Also, gratitude journal. This is huge for me. Like, I'm going to pull something out here to show you something. This is my gratitude journal. This here is my gratitude journal. This is a page of my gratitude journal. Okay. These are things that I'm thankful for in my life. Okay. So when I started doing this journal, which was many years ago, like 10 years ago, I only had 4 things. And I would just write down 4 things that you're grateful for, right? 4 things. Then it's just because I didn't know how to be thankful for things. I didn't know what that meant. So the more I did it, what happens is you're just writing down things that you're thankful for that you love in your life. That's it. That's all you're writing down. And so at first it could be your parents, your soccer, whatever it is. But the more you do that, the more you start focusing on positive things in your life, right? Because that's what you want. You want to know how to get rid of the negative, put the negative people at arm's length. If they're part of your family, you got to keep them there, but you got to keep them at arm's length. If they're not serving you well in your life, get rid of them. 100, just get rid of them. There's no need for that person in your life. If they're not bringing you anything positive to your life, get rid of them. Totally agree. So, but you have to start with you, by you being able to focus on what do I love? What am I thankful for in my life? And then you just start writing them down every day, in the morning or at night. I do it mine in the morning because it sets my day up. Because as soon as I finish that, I'm just smiling the whole time. Just like, let's go. Because I run 2 companies. I got a whole bunch of people I got to deal with every day. Stress is 100% of the time. So I got to be able to deal with that with a smile on my face. And, I'm able to do that because I just write. So like I said, now it's like 40, 50 things a day. And so, you're going to write the same thing over and over again because for me, I need to do that. And then it got to a point where I just kept writing the same thing. So I also talk to somebody. I have a therapist that I see sometimes because when things get stressful for me, I need somebody there. I need someone that I can talk to other than my wife. And so he's like, well, maybe write down 3 things and then elaborate a little bit more on those 3. Sure. Right? So why are you thankful? Not just write down, I'm thankful for this. So because I've been doing this for so long, I needed to see, I'm always learning, right? I'm always saying, okay, how do I level up? Okay, I've been doing this for so long. It's just getting, okay, it's the same thing. Let's level up. New things pop up for sure. And listen, at the beginning, I was being like, I'm thankful for the guy that I met at the grocery store. He was really nice. Like, positive things, because that your whole life will change. Like your whole outlook on life will change. The things that you don't want to steal your power, right? Your positivity, what's in here is your power, right? You can't give it away. Sometimes things take it away for whatever reason because of what you're doing that you have no control over, but you can control the things that you let in, and you can control things you can get out.
That's so true.
And again, all of this is practice. Like I'm not a meditating God. I just do what works for me. And when I started, I used a program when I started because I had no clue what I was doing. Yeah. When it came to breathing, I used Wim Hof's breathing app because I needed, and then I took Wim Hof's class. Remember, I'm 53 years old. I have a lot of experience. I am always trying to level up. I'm always trying to level up, which everyone should be doing, no matter what.
Yeah. That's something that I loved when I was just going into that, because that's the way of, in a certain sense, it's the way of a warrior. It's the way of an athlete. It's the way of this. And that's a lifestyle. It's not a thing that you just need to take lightly, that, trying to level up this week and then, then I'm going to coast. There's none of that. And what's funny is because depending on where you're at in the journey, in your own journey, you might look like someone's going to look at you and like doing all the things you've done and like how you train all this stuff. And it's like, that is impossible. And like, I don't even understand why this guy likes to do it. It looks like too much work. And this also too, you start to love this journey. And that's the thing that I think that people, high performance individuals and people, they don't talk about this enough, because it's a thing. It does look hard, and it's not to take away from something. It's not like it's easy for you to just get up. You could easily just lay in bed, grab some food, and not do the workout. But there is something different. There's some sort of pull you get once you can make that lifestyle switch that makes it so fun and so easy. Is when you start getting good results. Also, on top of that, people are just it's addictive, right? Yeah. And so I want to shift really quickly to something that we didn't touch on that I know you know a whole lot about. We're going to talk about supplements real quick. Yeah. And on the supplement side, I've seen what you have, and you can definitely pull that up. But we've just started private labeling our own supplements. And one of the interesting things that we did is through my whole journey as a pro athlete, what I found is that you try everything, right? And I'm sure you did. It's like, you got to go try this. This guy's talking about this. I got to try this. When you're at the pro level, you're going to do it. You know, amateurs are people that are going to try a couple things, dabble here and there, and it's whatever. But the pros definitely are going to try. And what I've found is that these, for the most part, plant-based, these ones that are avoiding some of this stuff that is either, like I said, like you've said too, this processed kind of too chemically, what's going on, like that sort of stuff. It didn't fit with me. It's not that I didn't have some benefits. It just didn't fit as much with me. So what we have ashwagandha, which I know you're a proponent of. We have fish oil.
Beautiful.
We have an adaptogen. So my favorite adaptogen, even though I love a lot of the different adaptogens, but cordyceps, which is really cool. And then we have whey protein. That's it. It's the only, those are the only supplements you can get from us. That's all we have. And, and we just made sure to go and figure out where we could source these to the best of our ability. So speaking of supplements, I know you've mentioned like vitamin D and stuff like this, but where do you stand on that? What should guys be looking to do? And if you could touch on those four as well, if you have any knowledge of them.
Those four are great. I mean, I love ashwagandha because, there's different things with ashwagandha. And we used to have an ashwagandha supplement because it's great for keeping cortisol levels at bay. It's great for mood, decreasing the bad estrogen in your body. It's great for that. I like ashwagandha for sure. Fish oil, 100%. We don't get enough omega-3s. We have too many omega-6s, omega-9s. We don't get enough omega-3s. In fact, it should be switched. It should be double the omega-3s, and it's actually double the 6 and 9 because it's in so many foods and other things. So we need to, unless you're eating fish every single day of the year, you gotta, plus there's so many different things: inflammation, brain health, skin, testosterone, a lot of things that omega-3s do. The adaptogen is great too. Amazing. I don't have it, but I think it's great. What was the last thing you mentioned? Oh, whey protein, of course. Yeah.
Whey protein.
100% whey protein. Well, 100% whey protein. Like that's so supplementation for me is, again, at the very end of everything. So, you focus on your sleep, you get your workouts, metabolic workouts 3 to 4 times a week, total body. You've got your nutrition on point, and now you're going to focus in recovery. And now you're going to focus on supplementation. And even if you have a program that you're willing to really follow, then you jump in and you get the supplementation. So whey protein, I love. I think it's a must. Reinvented our whey protein because it was getting expensive. Protein, after this whole pandemic thing, protein went up.
Yeah, totally.
We make them from scratch because I have a doctor on our team, but I also do a lot of research behind it because, again, like some things will white label, like depending on what it is, but 90% of our supplements are from scratch. So, but whey protein for sure, 100%. Again, building blocks of our muscles, our bones, and the metabolic processes, right? We don't get enough protein generally in our lives. We think we may do, but we don't. So being able to supplement with a whey protein supplement, whey protein isolate, it's perfect using a smoothie after your workout. Like, now, remember I said you have to eat after your workout, but right after your workout, great to get the protein to start the recovery process for your body. That's just starting the recovery. It's not going to be a meal. It just starts that recovery process. So most of my guys have for protein and BCAAs after their workout to start that recovery. Then they go shower and eat. Yeah, I do the vitamin D, the multivitamins, all that stuff. But remember, I'm working with an older audience, right? For me, the supplementation when you get older is much more important than when you're younger. As of course, supplementation is important, but for me, that's why we have magnesium. Because I got an older audience, got to make sure we're going to get it in. But yeah, for an athlete, ashwagandha is good. Oil's good. I'm just trying to think of the ones that stand out. Like the ones you have are perfect. I think they're great.
Sure. Yeah, it's hard to you don't want to overcomplicate things because that's truly what I mean. God knows, like these kids walking into the store, it's like, what am I supposed to do with this? Yeah, and so that's we try to make it simple. I got two last things here for us right now. You've mentioned this also, and I want to make sure that we get something specific from you out of it. But you mentioned metabolic resistance training, which I heard you kind of explain what it is, which is funny because it's kind of the way that I tend to train without knowing anything about, why. It's just kind of one of those things that I fell into that felt right, because it's like, if you've ever, I mean, all the guys listening to this have definitely been in a training or had a trainer who's just thought, let's just run forever and ever and just kill you until the end of time, and then our team will be amazing. It's like, and then of course all the injuries start and all that stuff, and you know what it is. So what exactly is metabolic resistance training, and how can I do that, and how can I put that in my training?
Awesome. Yeah. So metabolic resistance training. So metabolic training basically is what you guys know as HIIT training. So you're moving from, you're going to do a workout with 6 exercises, and each of the exercises hits a body part. So, you have a push, you have a lunge, you have a squat, you may have a bent over dumbbell row, you may have some dumbbell carries, so you're really hitting all the different movement patterns that you'll need. And so you'll do those exercises. Maybe you'll do the first exercise, 45 seconds, then you rest for 15 seconds. Then the next exercise, 45, 15, 40. So it's like circuit training, but you're going to be using either your body weight or resistance with a dumbbell or a kettlebell, which I love too. And so you'll do that for 1 round, rest for a minute, and then maybe repeat for 3 to 4 rounds, depending on the workout. Very short, but very effective. And the reason why it's effective is, A, it's short, like 20, 30 minutes. That's really all you need when it comes to working out, because anything longer, anything that goes into the 40 minutes, 45 minutes, now for an athlete, it's a little bit different because we know we have practice, but I'm just talking workouts in general. That's where the cortisol starts to increase, right? We maximize growth hormones and testosterone in the 30-minute mark. Growth hormones start popping, specifically if you're doing resistance training, adding weight to that metabolic protocol that I just explained, circuit training. Growth hormones. Growth hormones are great for fat loss, great for muscle growth, right? It's a very important hormone, again, for everybody, men and women. Plus, after a workout like that, your T levels are going to go up. So you want to keep it in that pocket. Anything outside, now you're starting to get to 40 minutes. That's why when you see guys on the stair climber or the elliptical every day for 45 minutes, they look the same. I go to the gym here and see guys who I've seen last year that look exactly the same. They still have the belly. And that's because cortisol increases now. Now you're releasing cortisol, you're decreasing your growth hormones, and cortisol stores fat. Cortisol also eats away at muscle too. That's why you see long distance runners look the way they look, skinny, lean, not muscular, because they need endurance. They need the aerobic system. And you see sprinters, anaerobic, jacked, ripped, and fast, right? Short runs. So you just got to decide which body do you want. Do you want a sprinter's body? You want to, you want to be explosive, fast, and move side to side, move in all different planes of motion. And that's the other thing that's great about metabolic training is you can set it up the way you need to set it up for whatever sport. Like, you can do skater hops, right? You get a med ball, do skater hops, which are side to side, because in soccer, you move side to side, right? Side to side. Then you can do lunges afterwards. So you can set up a circuit just in your house or at the gym, or have everyone, I used to do this when I go to Thailand. I train like 50 UFC fighters or 50 fighters. They're all around, and I just, okay, this is what we're doing first round. Here we go, boom, and everyone's hitting it hard. No one's focusing on anybody else but themselves, trying to get through. So what happens? Here's why this works. So let's pretend that we got 2 lines here, and one is I don't know how many. So this is the long cardio. So your body is at a homeostasis state before working, right? It's just at its regular state. You're not doing anything. You're ready to go. You warm up. Both guys do the same warm up. One person does a long cardio. They may go up for a bit because you can't do high intensity for an hour, right? You're doing medium, low intensity. You're on the elliptical or whatever. And so because you're only going up this high, it takes the body maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour to get back to homeostasis. So that time it takes to get back to homeostasis, your body still is burning calories because that's energy. Your body needs energy to get back to relax. You do a metabolic workout and you're going up here, right? We're going very high intensity, right? We're going, as hard as we can, as many reps as possible during the 45 seconds. But we're out of breath. We're not recovering as long during each exercise. So we're up here. It's going to take your body 24 to 36 hours to get back to homeostasis. That's all research and studies. That's why I jump on metabolic training. So that's why I got a certification. It's called EPOC, right? Excess post workout oxygen consumption. It takes longer to get back, which is what you want. You want to continue to burn. That's why when most people do metabolic training, short workouts now, like hours after, I'll get guys going, Funk, I've got a problem. I'm always sweating like 2-3 hours after your workouts. I'm like, yeah, that's your body's you're still metabolizing, buddy.
Going.
Your body's still trying to get back to that homeostatic state. I love it. And the other reason is because you can use it in so many different, you can use it for athletes. You can use it just for the mom and pa. You can use it for someone who wants to burn fat, build muscle, which is what the key is. Because you hold on to more muscle when you train that way, right? You're not burning away muscle like you would with long cardio, right? Now, let's flip the script. As an athlete, of course, you are training for your sport, right? Sport-specific training. So if you're like, I used to play rugby or even for fighting. Like, I hate running. I hate long distance running. I hate it with a passion. I hate it. But for my fights and when I was training Muay Thai, I had to do before training 5K. When you're not training, 10K. Like 5K to me is like a marathon. Like, I hate it. So those 5Ks are made for some people. It's like suck it up, but for me, it's tough. And as I get older, I don't run anymore like that because I'm old. I can't do it for my body, but you got to do things obviously for your sport. Those runs were part of everything. It was runs, but then also metabolic training, core training, mobility, all of those things. And you got to find the time to put it in. So short, effective workouts.
I'm the same way with long distance running. It's funny because play soccer. Obviously, I run a lot. I mean, my position, I'm a midfielder. I run a lot, but people are like, I can't remember. It's been years now. Somebody asked me if I wanted to go for a run when it was the off season or something like that. I'm like, what? Why would I do that? Like, let's go to the field and let's go play. Like, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not even going to go for this walk right now, even if it's nice in nature. I'll do that specifically when I want to do it, So last thing that I want to ask, is and this is a tough one, but maybe you've because of the fact you have such a high intensity program, you'll be able to answer this. But if we had to give guys 3 to 5 things that they could do now, if you only had to just be like, all right, guys, fine, you're not going to listen to me on all that stuff. There's just 3 to 5 things that would basically set them on the right path, whether that's to get their hormones back, to get their nutrition right, or to do whatever. What would you push guys to do in a very simple manner?
Yeah, great question. Number 1, sleep, 100%. You can get that right away. You can start that right away. Number 2, nutrition. So get rid of the sugar, get rid of the processed foods. Start thinking about whole foods. Remember, I'm giving this to you right now. 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, dinner, meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, whatever you call it. Make sure you can Google what are complex carbs. Google proteins. Just Google it. A source of protein, a source of complex carb, vegetables and fruits, more greens, the better. And then a healthy fat. Avocado is generally what I go with, but olive oil on that salad if you have a salad. So and get rid of all the other stuff, like the packaged stuff, the sauces. Like, get rid of that. I'm telling you, the difference will be night and day. Mm-hmm. And the last thing it's not sexy, but it's huge. It's hydration. I want you guys to start drinking 1 gallon to 1.5 gallons a day, 100%. Hydration is key. It's huge to optimize your hormones. It's huge for weight loss. And most men and women are dehydrated. They just don't realize you're not drinking enough water. Yes, you may have liquids, but you're not drinking enough water. When you're dehydrated, that's inflammation. That's no energy. That's, all the things I talked about, slow metabolism and so on and so forth. Yes, you're going to be going to the washroom 50 times a day. Yes, you will. That you're going to be the pee person. That's just, you're going to be your life. But you need to get that hydration. Right away, you're going to start to feel different. You're going to start to feel, oh man, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm drinking more water. Get rid of the sodas. Get rid of the pops. Get rid of the juices. If you're, over 30, get rid of the milk. You don't need milk, man. That's for younger cats who are trying to, her bones are still growing, or babies, but you don't need it. Get rid of that stuff. If you can't get rid of the alcohol, go no beer or alcohol for a month. Do that for 1 month and just tell me how your body feels, how your mind feels, how everything feels, how your body looks. Just 1 month. That's it. And bring water in, get 7 to 9 hours sleep, get that nutrition. The rest we'll deal with in our next part. So.
Deal. I love it, man. Listen, we'll link to everything, guys. So if you're listening to this, it's in the show notes. If you're watching this on YouTube, obviously, and we're gonna have so many short clips, so we're definitely gonna link to the full podcast here that we've just done and everything else. But listen, man, I appreciate it. We're definitely gonna have to do it again. There are gonna be questions, so we'll definitely do round 2 sometime.
For sure. Thank you so much, man. And I'm a big fan of yours as well. I love everything you do. I
appreciate it.
We have a lot in common. I feel just in what you're saying, the way you are. I would be his best friend.
I appreciate it, man.
We would be friends.
I love it.
For sure.
All right, guys, check all this stuff out, and we'll see you guys next time. Yeah. All right. Peace.